it's hard to really think past what's going on tonight. So, like I said, it's heartbreaking, and, that's it.
Boston has won so much that there almost was you got some schadenfreude by seeing this slow, torturous Blues victory last night, where it became third period, you go in 2-0, and okay, something could still happen here. Now it's 3-0. There's not enough time to come back. Now it's 4-0. And oh, by the way, goal, and why'd you bother? That's sort of the way it was. They're going to pull the goalie now down by 3 in the last 7th game of Stanley Cup final, There's nothing like a 7th game of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Actually, there's a football writer right now. And he said, Mark Cobolin, he says, yeah, except like every NFL playoff game there has ever been. Because they don't play series. It's elimination. That's it, Bit cynical there. Some people said, you had the build up to that winner take all in a 7-game series or a 5-game series or what have you. Does that mean that there's, a wild card playoff baseball game is the same as an NFL playoff? Yeah. Okay, these are questions that are a little too more to contemplate. But yes, they say heartbreaking, as if Boston hasn't won enough. Then again, are the New England Patriots really even a Boston team? They play in Foxborough, and yeah, this is a difficult argument to make, I get it, but they fly out of Providence, not Boston. Well, yeah, even a charter flight out of Logan is going to be delayed, so who can blame them? But another reason why, I believe it's a shorter distance from Foxborough to Providence than it is to Boston. What do you think about that? I don't know. Now, the city of Boston, they missed out. The last time there has been a trifecta, first with the World Series, then with an NFL title, and then with the Stanley Cup, was 1935 in Detroit. Tigers won the World Series. Goose Goslin with a walk-off hit against the Cubs. Then the Lions won the NFL title in 35. That was only their second year, I believe, in Detroit. And then the Red Wings won a Stanley Cup in 36. So that was the only, 12-month trifecta. That's the last time that's happened. But that was what Boston was going for last night. It would probably have been a lot more impressive now with Boston because they just had to beat out more teams, the Red Sox, Patriots, and Bruins. I mean, who's kidding who? Not that the old, 1935 accomplishment of the Detroit teams wasn't impressive. No, it was. It's just they had to beat out fewer teams. It's easier to beat out 5 other teams than 29 other to win a Stanley Cup. Let's face facts there. So, say what you will. Anyway, that's what was going on. Meanwhile, though, like I said, the St. Louis fans, I gotta be happy for them. Really happy. Because, like I said, they had their football team taken away from them for no reason. In fact, in many of their sports fans, they had their football taken away from them twice in their own lifetime. Again, not for the reasons of their own. In fact, I still wonder if the NFL didn't say, we can't let Rush Limbaugh buy the Rams, if they'd still be in St. Louis. I bet Howard Balzer on here and saying, Kroenke was probably always had the inside deal there. Probably didn't mean that much, but yeah. You want to talk about boycott the NFL. I mean, baseball let Bill Maher buy the Mets, but Rush Limbaugh to the Rams and keeping them in St. Louis? No, he can't have that. That's not right. Anyway, the St. Louis fans then have to be on top of the world now that one of their 2 remaining teams has won it all.
I'm on top of the world right now! Go Blues!
Yeah, it's their first title. So give it to them. Let them celebrate. And you know what? I know we have Predators fans here in East Tennessee, but just, rivalry with the Blues when you don't have that geography that maybe you do in West Tennessee and Middle Tennessee, it's just not... For me, it's hard to hate the Blues. It really is. Some Predators fans may disagree, but now, there is that little, you get this thing of losers town. So they used to say Cleveland was before Cavaliers won it. And for that matter, St. Louis, well, there's always the Cardinals. So they haven't been losers town. But, Atlanta, only the Braves in 95, that's the only title they've ever had. Trying to think what Philadelphia, although the Eagles won it recently, and then the Phillies before that. The Flyers have been a long time. Sixers have been a long time. 75 and 83. And so from 83 to 2008 it was that the Phillies won it. They had 4 teams that didn't win any titles in 25 years. That was a long time, So you get the Buffaloes never won a title. Not since, they did in the AFL days. They won some AFL titles, but no, Buffalo has never won. Chicago historically, really before Michael Jordan got there, they seem to lose a lot. The Bears, I guess, historically did win the NFL. They were good with, historically with Hallis, I suppose. But, after George Hallis, they've won the Super Bowl once. And then it wasn't until, the Cubs were known for losing until recently. White Sox were known for losing until 2005. Maybe even still post that. Chicago tends to have that loser's town, maybe. Let's see here. What else? Brewers have never won a world title. Bucks haven't since, 71? So that's a long time, Marquette did win the NCAA tournament in 77, but Marquette, they dropped football after 60. So, you get some of these, towns that are loser towns, right? Seattle loses their basketball team. Mariners are the longest drought for the baseball playoffs. I guess you got the Seahawks. You got to give them the Seahawks. So that's destroyed that idea. But, you said losers town, right? All right. What about losers state? Think about this. You had the Predators. They've been around for a generation. No cups. Grizzlies, they've now been around for a generation. No titles. They've not even really competed for one. And while the Titans were a yard away in 99, 2000 as the case may be, Titans are pretty much an anonymous franchise. That's why they're retiring 2 players, Eddie George and Steve McNair, that are great in their history, but not so much in the overall scheme of pro football when you think about it. Now, I mentioned those things, and so you'll get the idea, wait a minute. When does Tennessee win a major pro sports title? I'm not talking about the Elizabethton Twins winning the Appalachian League or, something like that. The Nashville Vols winning some sort of title years and years ago. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about major pro sport. There's 3 teams. Had them since the 90s. About 60 seasons. No world titles. That's a drought, folks. Do we start talking about the volunteer state curse? Are Catfish bad luck? Should they have changed the name, moving from Vancouver? Are the Titans uniforms just too wacky, too computer graphics? What kind of curse can you have right there? The curse of Mike Jones 1.0. What is the idea? Bud Jones interfering with Jeff Fisher and all that? Jeff Fisher is thought to be a great coach in Nashville. Everywhere else, he's thought to have lost the most games of any coach in NFL history. I tend to think more on the Fisher good side, but, Yeah, Eric Dickerson didn't like him in L.A., and that didn't work out there, and that's a bigger market, and so, yeah. He didn't get into the Super Bowl shuffle, and he was on the 85 Bears. How good can Fisher be? You get that, especially in L.A. How good is the Tennessee offensive line going to be? Well, it's going to lose some depth. Freshman Melvin McBride has retired. This sounds very formal for a college football team. Retired. When did they just, quit? Or, health and situations and all this. Numerous Tennessee football players retired this offseason due to health reasons. Sounds like Butch Jones is running the team. Vols have lost a new recruit because of that issue before he even suited up. And it's McBride. And you heard about this in the sports update. We'll replay it again in not our next. Well, you know what? I will replay it in our next. Why not? We'll go through Asian House Florio, and we'll play that at the top of the hour. Why not? He was 6'4", 310 pounds, out of Whitehaven High School in Memphis, which is a pretty good